All right, y'all, welcome back to Healing University. I am Black Angel, and today we're going to be doing a class on spiritual protection, spiritual protection. Now, just like any class, right, this is like a blueprint, but this is something that you can always build upon, like you can always add to it, depending on your culture, depending on maybe your religion or spiritual system, and whatever downloads you may get from your higher self or your divine support team. So these are going to be some examples, like some bases that you can use. And hopefully you're able to start putting these into action right away and start to feel the effects of it, right? So during this class, make sure you got pencil and paper or pen and paper because you will need to take notes. And you're also going to be doing a little bit of drawing. So make sure that you have, some extra paper to make pictures, draw pictures on, okay? All right, so in this class, in spiritual protection, we're going to be covering prevention. We're going to be covering the aura or energetic fields. We're going to be talking about cords and soul ties, soul contracts, rituals, that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about crystals for protection, symbols and sigils for protection, calling on ancestors and angels, which ones that we should call on. And we're also going to be, again, talking about using paper or sand or dirt to also draw for protection as well. Okay, so hopefully everybody is ready to go. Have you some water. It's always good to have some water on hand when we are doing any type of energy work. Okay, all right, so as we get ready to get started, we are going to start with grounding connected to the earth vortex. Hopefully by now, for those who've been taking the classes, you know how to command yourself to connect to the Earth's vortex so that you are grounded. So at this time, I'm going to ask you all to command your higher self to connect you to the Earth vortex so that you are grounded. Ashe? As you start to connect to the Earth vortex, you should feel your body energy start to kind of stabilize and relax, and maybe even feel energy leaving out the bottom of your feet with a little bit of heaviness and maybe some tingling here and there, right? Now, also in the classes you have done so far, you should be also ready to command your higher self to connect you to the divine light vortex. Remember, I said the divine light is what we need to bring whatever we need to know to light so that we can see it, feel it, hear it, and then be able to do what's needed to be done because of it, okay? So command your higher self to connect you to the divine light vortex. Ashe? Now remember, when connecting to the divine light vortex, it's going to come in through the crown chakra and slowly make its way all the way down at the bottom of your feet, connecting with the earth chakra, which will bring you balance. Okay, last class, I believe it was last class, we also talked about energy stabilization, where you command your higher self to stabilize your energies, just in case they're kind of going wild and crazy. You want them to be calm, relaxed, stable. So at this time, go ahead and command your higher self to stabilize your energies, And you can also add to stabilize your feelings and emotions along with that if you feel the need to do so. As your energies become stabilized, you may actually feel the shift within your physical body as those energies, feelings, and emotions come to a more stable condition that keeps you calm, relaxed, centered. Okay, next thing we do, we're gonna go into our first part. which we're going to talk about prevention. So again, this class is about spiritual protection, right? And one of the best ways to protect yourself is through prevention. Sometimes not engaging with certain individuals, not going to a physical place, paying attention to your intuition, maybe not doing certain projects or doing certain high risk activities. That is all protection. When I was in the Army, we used to do a risk assessment before any time we did any training, right? We would go through and we would start identifying any hazards that could potentially, work against us during the mission. So that means we would look at the route that we're going to take, and we say, on this route, what could we run into? Okay, maybe we'll run into some potholes that can cause a flat tire. Maybe we need to be aware of any wildlife, animals that may jump out in front of the vehicle. We may need to pay attention to the time of day we're going. Is it going to be daylight? Is it going to be dark? Which way is the sun coming down? So if that route is facing the sun, would it cause some vision impairment because it's so bright? See, all these things comes into play just on the route itself. And then it's the actual training activity, which goes into during this training, what are hazards? Potentially having a physical body injury, dehydration because you're exerting so much energy and you're sweating. But what if it's cold outside and you're sweating? Now we're talking about hypothermia, frostbite, and issues like that, you see? So when it comes to spiritual protection, your prevention is part of your protection. Your risk assessment is part of your protection. So when we used to look at these hazards, these possible hazards, we would then come up with something that can mitigate those hazards, meaning, okay, if I know if I'm going to be driving at night, just keeping it simple, right? Then the risk is going to be vision because it's dark. So then the preventive measure to bring the risk maybe from a high to a low will be to make sure the headlights are on. And so now the risk of driving in the dark goes from a high risk to maybe a low medium risk because we implemented driving with the lights on. And in the military, we didn't always drive with lights. We had these little bitty lights and that made the risk kind of stay high. But that's just a little example of what I mean as far as you start off by planning what you're going to be doing, finding any possible hazards during that event, seeing what you can do to lower the risk and protect yourself from parts of that event, and then implementing it and driving forward. Now at the end, we used to do an after action review where we go back over the risk and say, okay, is there any hazards that I missed prior to this, event? Some things might have came up that you didn't take account for. So let's say on the route, we accounted for potholes, we accounted for vision, and we accounted for wildlife jumping in front of the vehicle. But it's cold out and maybe we didn't account for black ice, which is basically, where ice is kind of unseen, but once you get over it, you'll slip right through it, right? So maybe we didn't account for that. So then we got to go back to our risk assessment and add a hazard that we didn't account for. So the next time we go out, we can make sure we find something to hopefully mitigate that risk, right? So it's the same thing we do in our spiritual life, same thing. Maybe you did a session or healing session, or you did a reading and there was a that you didn't protect yourself from. So now you have to go back the next time. So when you do the reading again or someone else, you can make sure you protect yourself from what you found out the last session. Okay? So again, prevention. Prevention is key. A lot of times your guardian angels will spend more times trying to convince you not to go somewhere or not to interact so that you won't be harmed more than they will be trying to save you, right? They would rather prevent you than trying to save you in an emergency. So just keep that in mind. Pay attention to your intuition. If you're getting ready to do something and something just doesn't feel right about it, don't do it. Prevent yourself from doing it, and you just protected yourself from a possible incident. Ashe? All right. So before we go forward, I would like to ask you all who are here to, you can come off your mic, and is there any very quick stories, very short examples that you can give that may happen in your life where prevention was like your protection. Feel free to come off. And again, we're talking about like, man, I'm glad I didn't do that because something ended up happening. Had I been there, I would have been affected. Is there anybody got any experiences with that?
Yeah. When I was a teenager, I was at a party and I heard the divine parent tell me, you need to leave right now. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna leave right now. And when I got around the corner, the whole party was shot up. And it was very bad. Like it was a crime scene. And I was safe.
Ashe. Sorry, well, we send love to those who are, of course, affected. But we also are grateful that you listen to your intuition so that you can be here, so you can do what you're supposed to do to help heal others, right?
Ashe.
Yeah, ashe.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that with us. One more person, anybody else? Okay, all right, that's good. All right, y'all, we're gonna keep on moving, right? So I think everybody understands what we mean about prevention. Remember, listen to that intuition, listen to that voice in your head trying to prevent you from doing something so that you don't get caught in a crossfire by events that were not initially targeted for you, okay? All right, so let's go on to the next part of spiritual protection. And we're gonna talk about what I always look at as, I usually look at this as the first line of defense, but I think I'm going to use prevention as the first line of defense, right? So, but let's say like we got to go out there and do things anyway. We got to engage out there in the world. Your first line of defense is going to be your aura, your energetic fields that surrounds the physical body, right? Some of us will have auras that may go out 100 feet. The average person may have an aura that only goes out about 3 to 5 feet. These auras are filled with energies that radiate from within you outward, right? So if you are operating from a space of benevolence, for example, which is being kind-hearted, being loving, then that's what your aura is going to be filled with. So when energies come to you that are lower vibrations, then the love and benevolent energies that you are exuding, your aura protects you from those lower energies coming into the aura energetic field, right? Especially on the average when you're just out and about and there's all these random energies out there, people's emotions and feelings out there, you wanna make sure that you are operating in a higher vibration for protection so that your aura protects you. Now, there will be times, right, when the aura can be penetrated, and usually the aura is penetrated with specific attacks. If it's coming from a certain person trying to send that negative energy towards you, it could be strong enough at times to try to penetrate the aura. Most of the time, if you are vibrating higher, the attack will kind of just dissolve itself as it touches your aura, right? But we are having a human experience. And there's sometimes we start to feel sad about something or we get angry about something and our vibration starts to lower because of the feelings and emotions we're in at the moment. And when those energies starts to lower, then those lower energies that's been trying to attack you now have a way in because you're starting to vibrate close to that level, right? So this is why some people say, look, even when you got haters out there, still operate in love and light, still operate in benevolence, because it keeps your vibrations high and keeps their attacks from getting to you. But once you get angry, once you get on that low vibration that they want you on, now you're lower down to their playing field and now their attacks can affect you. So again, your aura is going to be your first line of defense when dealing with the spiritual world and the physical world, okay? Now, here's some things you can also do to protect yourself with your aura. You can always call in energies to be filled within your aura or to surround your aura for divine protection. Keywords just like I've said before, divine protection. Divine protection means the protection that I need. If I allow the protection to be divinely guided, even places I'm not even aware of that needs protection will be covered, right? So I can place a bubble or a shield of divine protection around my aura, and I like to layer it. I might place 3 bubbles of divine protection around my aura. And I don't always have to use a specific color or, call on a specific type of energy because I said divine, whatever energy and colors that's supposed to be used for that will be used automatically, right? But sometimes some of us might need to feel comforted, to know that we know what type of protection is around us. So I like to sometimes use maybe white. Maybe I place 3 bubbles of white light around me, or 3 bubbles of gold for protection, and maybe even 3 bubbles of purple, like whatever protective color that is good for you, right? What else about the aura? We can fill the aura with extra energies that we call in. So I want y'all to try this with me. I want you to call in benevolent energy to fill your entire aura. And I want you to feel the energy, should be feeling on the skin surface, feel that energy as it surrounds your entire body. I command my higher self to fill my aura with benevolence, Ashe. I command my higher self to fill my aura with benevolence, Ashe. Let's just take a moment, feel the energy, feel where you feel it coming in most. That could tell you where any gaps in your aura is. What does it make you feel like? When you close your eyes, can you see the bright light? Or can you see the darkness in front of your eyes starting to clear up? Are you feeling a shift in energies where parts of your physical body, where pain is being released, or maybe tension? Are you starting to tingle? Are you starting to vibrate? Pay attention to those things. It lets you know where you may need to spend more time in cleansing or healing that particular part of the body. Okay, we're gonna do one more example. This time, you're gonna command that your aura be filled with unconditional love. Ashe. I command my higher self to fill my auras with unconditional love. Ashe. I command my higher self to fill my auras with unconditional love. Ashe. And again, you can always use a substitute word, whether it is amen, namaste, thank you, any words that you feel as a confirmation word, Ashe. Okay, so at least 2 people, anybody want to volunteer to describe what you felt when you call in one of those energies? What did you experience? Did you place shields or bubbles around you? Anyone who would like to share with us? Anyone?
So when I did the filling the aura with benevolence, I did feel most of the energy in my third eye.
Mm.
So I'm guessing that I'm cleansing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes if you overwhelm, and we're gonna talk about this too in later classes, but sometimes if you overwhelm a space with another energy, that's cancels out the other energy, it'll do that. So like if there's a malevolent energy in a space or attached to the body, and you overwhelm that space with benevolence, it eventually will wash away the malevolent energy, right? Because it's an opposite energy. So speaking of that, that's a good thing to think about when you're trying to protect yourself from specific energies, right? So if you feel like somebody is hating you, the best way to protect yourself will be the opposite of hate, which is love. So then I want to have love. I want to be surrounded with love so much that it cancels away any hate. And that includes any hate that may be inside of me, right? Because if I have hate inside of me, then it'll be easier for other people's hate to attach to me because it's already something that I'm vibrating on in a specific part of my body. So our soul, for example, can be benevolent, but we may have malevolent moments where we, let anger get the best of us. So that means now everybody else who's angry at us, their anger has been attached to us as well, right? So we have to make sure we protect ourselves by using the opposite energy, okay? You have to have so much positive to drown out that negative and not allow the negative to drown out your positive, right? But it'll happen sometimes because we're human, we go through stuff. Okay, anybody else like to share what you felt when you either place the shields around you or fill your auras with those energies?
For me, it's always my shoulders, my upper, I forgot what it's called, but it's always my shoulders.
Oh, like your trap?
And
Like your trap?
tingling from my shoulders down, right? Exactly. It don't go below my midsection, but it's just in my chest,
Mm-hmm.
in my shoulders, this tingling, sensation. And even when we have done our chakra work, it was the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It has always I never feel anything in my feet or in my crown, anything. It's always in my shoulders.
Yeah, sounds like you're carrying burdens and responsibilities of others.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to tell yourself to release it, right? For your protection. That's part of protection too. Releasing other people's energies, feelings, emotions, responsibilities, burdens, karmic debt, things that don't belong to us, belong to other people. That can protect us too, right? So in this case, for you, I would say, okay, I command my higher self to release all responsibilities, burdens, and energies back to them with love, right? Releasing it back to them with love. You can add, again, you can add energies, feelings, emotions, burdens, responsibilities, karmic debt. Okay, you can add any of that in there and anything else that may come to your mind as you could make these commands. And then you'll start to notice that you'll have that heaviness in the back of your neck and your shoulders less and less because you're not holding on to it as you usually would, right? So just make sure you look in the comments where our moderator is kind of posting some of these commands. So if you need to write it down, or when you watch the replay, you should be able to see the comments there too. Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that with us. That helped us, identify something else that we can protect ourselves with. So appreciate that. All right. We'll go to the next part. We're going to talk about cords. Okay, we're talking about cords and soul ties, connections. Think of a cord between you and another person, or you and a relationship, you in a situation. It's basically something that has a cord, something that you're attached to. And depending on the energy of what you're attached to, that energy can feed into you and be negative to you. So let's say you got into an argument with someone last night, right? It's something random. Got into an argument with someone last night, but you never really kind of closed that argument out. Maybe both of you went to bed mad or y'all separated, still angry. Well, the event that took place is still a low vibrating event, right? Caused a lot of like yelling, cussing, and all kind of stuff. So you the other person in the event. Think of you being attached to that other person because of the fight you just had. So there's a cord between you two. And there's a cord from that person to the event that happened, from you to the event that happened. So all this triangle of negativity is flowing between you and the other person and the event itself, right? So when you try to just walk away, it keeps coming back to your head and you keep thinking about it and think about it, you get angry again because this energy is still feeding you. Maybe you're trying to forgive that person, but it's just hard because you try to think good, but that situation that you're still attached to keeps feeding you, and now you're back angry at the other individual again, right? Keeps feeding you. So to protect ourselves, we have to release, we have to allow ourselves to release from situations, relationships, activating events, things that happen, right? Trauma, connections to maybe sentimental items or items that may have negative energy attached to them, right? We have to let ourselves detach from even places. Maybe we have an attachment to a specific location that caused us pain and suffering. And because we still have a connection to that place is still feeding us bad energy, even though we're no longer there. You see? So this is why, if you think about the Poltergeist movie, you can move from house to house, but the energy is attached to you. It's going to follow you wherever you go. Same concept. You have to detach from the energy itself so that you can be protected from it, bringing down your lower vibrations. So I would place on you to do some homework, right? When you do your homework for next class, your homework is going to be to identify, allow yourself to identify, you know, places, things, situations, relationships, items, you know, that kind of stuff. What are you attached to that's bringing your energy down, that's bringing your vibrations low? What's causing you pain and suffering? And then take note of where you feel in the body that attachment is, right? So let's say it's a place. You might feel the place in your stomach because that place, whatever you went through, it made you angry. And anger is held in the solar plexus, right? It's also held here between the eyebrows, but it starts in the solar plexus, right? So then when you will realize, man, as I think about this place, it makes my stomach hurt. I need to release myself. I'm going to release the attachments between me and that place because it's no longer serving my highest good. It's not serving my highest good at all. So I'm going to completely detach from it. And then when you detach from it, you're going to start to feel the energy in your stomach lighten up. And then you can always go back to the chakras, right? Place your hands on the solar plexus chakra, and then you heal that chakra. So then it can be healed from the damage that was done from that cord being connected. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, again, just sit in silence, you know, a few times throughout the week. See what it is that's causing certain pain in your body. What am I attached to that's causing me this pain that my physical body is trying to let me know something is wrong? Okay. All right. All right, we're going to keep going. Now we're going to go into crystals. Again, we're talking about protection. Protection. There are certain crystals that you can use to protect you from certain energies, right? There are some crystals that you can use to keep your vibrations high. And in keeping your vibrations high, those crystals can protect you, you know, by that, right? My vibrations are high, it protects me from the lower vibrations. So there's a few crystals I'm going to name, and I'm going to show you that you could use for protection, and some different ways on how to use those crystals for protection. We won't go too in depth because we're going to do the class on crystals and crystal grids next week. So the first thing about crystals for protection is using crystals that are high vibrational. Okay. We're going to talk about, for example, a clear quartz. It's a clear quartz, right? Clear. Now, clear quartz is called the master healer crystal, called the master healer crystal. But it also is an amplifier. It's an amplifier. So if you're thinking about when we talked about the auras, we talked about how you can radiate from what's within you outwardly. So if I am operating in benevolence and love, and I carry a clear quartz, it'll help amplify that love vibration. Now, I will give you a little warning though. If you're in a bad mood and you're wearing a clear quartz, it's going to amplify the bad mood. So you got to be careful with that too. You got to make sure that you're in good spirits when working with a clear quartz, unless you are asking this clear quartz to heal a part of you so that your vibrations can be raised. As when we're going to the crystal class, we'll talk about how clear quartz can be programmed. Okay. Okay. Another high vibrational crystal that I like to use is selenite. Selenite. Selenite is one of those crystals that connects us to our divine ancestors and angels, our higher self, because it vibrates on such a high level. It helps us resonate with those frequencies of our higher self. We'll definitely talk about selenite and how to use it more in the crystal class, but it's a beautiful crystal to have with you, because not only can it be used for every chakra, it can also heal the physical body, and it can also it can also be used to raise the vibrations again in your, cleansing. That's what I was trying to think of. You can also use it to cleanse. We'll talk about that next week, so maybe that's why it wasn't coming to me. But yeah, selenite, great crystal to have. I actually recommend all healers of whatever sort of healer you are that you carry selenite with you. Okay. Another good protection is going
I'm sorry,
to.
can you spell that, please?
Yes, I had a moderator spell it in the comments.
Okay, thank you.
Matter of fact, she already got it down there. She's typing what I'm. Yeah. She's
Okay.
typing in the comments. Okay, cool. Another crystal that I would recommend is tiger's eye. A tiger's eye crystal. Tiger's eye is one of those crystals that keep you grounded. So when you're grounded, your energies can be more stabilized. And because tiger's eye represent the masculine side of us, and the masculine side of us also is a part of protection. Okay? The masculine side is part of protection. So using a tiger's eye would definitely help for that. Okay, another stone crystal is green aventurine. Green aventurine. The green color of green aventurine is good for the heart chakra. So when we're operating in that unconditional love, then that also can help us radiate unconditional love, which protects us from the opposite energy. Hey. Okay, stones that are red are good because it represents the root chakra, and the root chakra represents protection. Okay, the root chakra represents protection. So any red stones, crystals, are really good to hold for protection. Okay, black stones are very good for protection. You're going to find more protective stones in black than any other. So this is the black tourmaline, but you also have black obsidian, you have black onyx, you have shungite, you have black agate, you have, what's that other one? It'll come to me in a minute. Is it onyx? I don't know if I said that yet, but anyway, black stones. The good thing with most black stones is that not only do they help the root chakra, but they can usually purify all the chakras. So because black tourmaline is a purification stone, it actually takes negative energy and it transmutes it to positive. So when the negative energy comes in, the tourmaline changes it to positive and releases it back out in positive energy. That's the beauty of having a black tourmaline. I do recommend healers and readers have a black stone with you, whether it's, it don't have to always be on you, but at least in front of you when you're doing your sessions so that it can do its job and protect you. Okay. Okay, another protective stone that is really good, especially for those who are healers and empaths, and that's going to be Labradorite. It's going to be Labradorite. Labradorite is a great stone for empaths, helping protect you from absorbing other people's energies. It also protects the auras and the chakras. And it's a very, very powerful crystal that helps you connect to the divine so that your intuition is popping. I don't know if that's the right word, but y'all get me. All right. Now, I'm going to show you another stone, which is amethyst, another crystal that's amethyst. And I'm going to bring up this black tourmaline again and show you why it's good to have both of these working together. So amethyst can protect you against entities, right? Entities. We're talking about entities like demonic spirits. We're talking about like spirits and souls that kind of roam the earth, kind of in purgatory. And also energy vampire spirits, like those sex demons, those ones that attach to you, like incubus, succubus. See, amethyst can protect from the entities. And these are very good crystals to have near your children while they're sleeping, because children are vulnerable. So keeping an amethyst next to your child's bed or under their pillow can protect them while they're sleeping in their dreams. And I would also recommend that you do it as well, okay? So black tourmaline transmute the energy. It will not protect against the entities. You have to have something like amethyst to protect against the entities, right? So if you have both, you're good. Now, another set of crystals that works well together for protection is going to be black tourmaline and selenite. It is great to pair black tourmaline and selenite together. These are both purifying crystals, right? Stones, right? Your black stone is going to work from the bottom up, and your selenite is going to work from the top down because it's a higher vibrational crystal. And this one is a more solid vibrational crystal. So when you use them both for protection, you get purification, you get transmutation of energy, and you get the raising of the vibrations of that energy. So black tourmaline, selenite, very good to pair together. Ashe? Now let's go back to another pairing, which will be like clear quartz, and let's say black tourmaline. If you pair them together, the clear quartz will amplify the black tourmaline to make the protection stronger. Same thing with the clear quartz and selenite. Same thing, you amplify its energy. Okay, so keep that in mind when pairing, different crystals and stones together. And last but not least, the crystal I'm going to show that can be for protection is going to be rose quartz. This is a rose quartz, okay? This is also a rose quartz, okay? Now, the beauty of rose quartz is that it helps with self-love issues, So why is it a protection though? It's a protection because if you love yourself, then you can protect yourself from those who are trying to use your pain and suffering for manipulation. So you can look at the rose quartz as like a protection against a narcissist, right? Because we know a narcissist like to use your emotions to draw you in. And then once they draw you in, that's when they go to work on you. But if you love yourself, it's going to be hard for a narcissist to pull on your emotions, your heartstrings, because you're not operating in a frequency of low self-esteem or low self-worth. So rose quartz is a beautiful crystal to have if you know you're having those type of issues, to protect you from those who are trying to siphon your energies and siphon your emotions. Okay. All right. Okay, I think we're good with crystals for now. We'll definitely cover more on how to use them in a grid formation and stuff like that once we go into the crystal class, okay? All right, so next part we're going to go into is we're going to go into symbols. We're going to go into symbols and sigils, right? Now, a symbol and a sigil, I like to look at them as portals. This design of this symbol or sigil, it has a specific vibration by the intentions, right? So let's use Reiki 1, for example. I'm going to use a Reiki 1 symbol, and I'm going to just briefly show you an example of how it works, how symbols and sigils work. So this symbol is going to be called Chokure. Chokure. Now, the intentions of this symbol is that as it spirals counterclockwise, it has an intention of pulling energy, therefore cleansing energy, right? So if I took this symbol and I wanted to cleanse a crystal, say the black tourmaline, I can lay this symbol on top of that crystal, and then the intentions of this symbol will start pulling the negative energy out of the crystal so that it's cleansed. If I place the crystal on top of that symbol, now it's still pulling up. So now it's pushing positive energy into the crystal. And we'll get into that more when we get into the sigil class as well. But symbols for protection can work by taking those symbols and placing them around you or around a location that you may be in, right? So let's say I take a symbol and I, using my mind's eye, I place a symbol on all 6 sides, above and below, of the home or the building that you're in. You can then start to feel the energy start to shift as that symbol starts to release all the negative energy out of that space. You do the same thing with yourself. You place 6 symbols, front, back, left and right, above and below. And then those symbols combine and create a protection sphere around you. So again, for those who may not be Reiki trained, we're going to keep it simple. Just imagine starting with a spiral going counterclockwise and going outward. And maybe just 3 times, right? Start in the middle, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So just imagine a spiral just like that. Or you can draw it on your piece of paper. And then you take that symbol as you look at it and you say, okay, I want to place that symbol in front of me. I'm going to place it behind me. I'm going to place it on my right side. I'm going to place that symbol on my left side, and then above me and below me. And the intentions of this counterclockwise symbol is going to be to cleanse all negative and malevolent energy away from you, right? So I want you to take about 30 seconds, place those symbols in those locations, and then feel the energies being released from you. And because those symbols are pulling energies outward, it also acts as a protection. So if something is coming to you, well, then the symbol that's spiraling counterclockwise blows the energy back because it's going outward. So therefore, it's a protection. So symbols can be used as a permanent portal to do exactly what it's designed to do, what it's intended to do. Okay? Okay, before we move forward though, I want to go ahead and let's anybody come off your mic and talk about what we just did, which is using symbols, which is also using crystals and even chords, you know, connections. Go ahead at this time and let's talk about it. And it can be about anything. It can be about symbols, crystals, or chords. Is there anything that come to your mind? Is there anything you felt? Did you feel anything when you use the symbols? Go ahead.
Oh, when I did the choke array on all sides, I felt negative energy come off of me.
Okay, good. So did you pay attention to where you felt the energy
It's
come
like I
from?
got the chills. It's like
Oh, good.
chills. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. So as you can feel that you got those chills, that means your energy got lighter, right?
Okay.
And then just like we said with the auras, when your energy, when your auras are light, the inner vibrations are higher, it protects you from the lower vibrations. So not only did it cleanse you and raise your vibrations, it also now served as a protection as well. Ashe.
So with the amethyst crystal, I often have to recharge it because I mean it gets light. The color changes from purple to light often.
Hmm.
And I know that that's just pulling the negative energy out of me. I'm familiar with that. As far as the chokure symbols, I felt my arms being pulled. They felt heavy, and I did feel lighter.
Ashe. Ashe. I like that. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for sharing that about the amethyst. You were saying that when it gets lighter, that means it's being drawn off of? That what you're saying?
All the negative energy in me, because I sleep with amethyst every single night. I never take it off. I only take it off just to charge it for a day, and that's not often. But it lightens up, and that's how you know that, like, if you have anxiety, that it's drawing that energy out of you into the crystal, so it'll get light, and that's what it does often.
Thank you for sharing that, because I keep this with me all the time, but I never really paid attention about when it gets lighter or darker. So now that you're saying that, Ashe, I'm gonna keep that in mind. I sleep with this one as well.
Yeah, remember when I called you? It was last year, and I was going through anxiety really, really, really bad. So I studied which crystals could help me, and amethyst was the number one to draw the anxiety out of me. And I learned how to charge it, and that's why I never take this one off. And you made me one too, but I have another one that I sleep with it. You know.
Gotcha. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. We appreciate that. So hopefully everyone was able to receive that and implement it as you see fit. Thank you. Okay. So now we're going to move into talking about our divine support team for protection, right? Our divine support team, this is our divine ancestors, guardians, spirit guides, angels, archangels, divine creator, deities that you may be working with when it comes to protection. Certain energies, certain energy personas are specifically for divine protection. For example, if we are looking at the archangels, we have the Archangel Michael. And the Archangel Michael is for divine protection, spiritual protection. Archangel Michael helps us with negative energy and dealing with entities as well. So there are a lot of people who call on the Archangel Michael to be surrounded, to surround them for protection for the highest good. Now, you also have other archangels that also can help with protection. For example, the Archangel Gabriel is one that protects, and the Archangel Metatron, which is for esoteric protection, things that are outside of this realm. So you have different types of deities from different cultures that also could be specific for protection. Some people use Santa Muerte, some may use Alegua, some may use Ogun, okay, and other orishas, depending on the culture that you're in. Some may use Ganesh for protection, because though Ganesh can be for abundance and prosperity, Ganesh can also be for protection as well, you see? And then you have guardians that are bloodline related, the ones who may have passed away, but they come back to protect you. Usually these guardians that come back to protect you, these loved ones, they know you, they know who you are, they know how you operate. So those are usually going to be the ones who's going to operate in prevention. So when you're getting that prevention anxiety, like, hey, don't do that, don't go there, That's usually going to be one of your loved ones working closely with you because they're probably with you pretty much every day. And they know what you like and you don't like, and they know what can harm you and what would not harm you. So the thing about protection when working with spirits and working with energies is that you have to call on that energy for that, right? So just think about this. You have guardian angel standing next to you and you have free will. And so the guardian angel gives you a little bit of intuition and say, I don't think it's a good idea for you to talk to that person. But because we're in a human experience and we have ego, we're like, I'll be all right. So then the guardian angel stands there and watch you get your butt whooped. The guardian angel's job was to prevent you, but because you have free will, they can't always stop you. Now, if it's something that's going to cause you great bodily harm or death, some guardian angels will then intervene and make sure that you don't get to that level of hurt. So not only do we ask our guardian angels, deities and whoever for protection, we got to make sure that we follow it as well, or the protection doesn't work, right? Because the divine support team can place the protection you need divinely, but if you allow access to you from something that's negative, well, can they really block something that is your own free will decision? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when dealing with people, places, things, situations, relationships. Keep that in mind, okay? Okay, last part we want to talk about spiritual protection. It's going to be drawing, right? Now, when we were just talking about drawing, we were talking about symbols, but sometimes it's good for us to draw an example or an analogy of the type of protection we want. So let's take a blank piece of paper, right? Or a spot on in your notebook. And let's say you want to protect yourself, right? So I'm going to draw a stick figure, myself, boom, boom, something simple, right? I love the stick figure method. When we start doing the energetic healing, you're going to see the stick figure method a lot because it simplifies your work so that you don't, get sidetracked. So I got a stick figure of myself. I'm asking you to do the same. So now I want protection, right? I want spiritual protection, divine protection. So one of the first things I can do, I can say, you know what? I'm going to draw a circle around me. And this is going to be a bubble of protection. And I wrote an acronym, BOP. I just thought of that right now, by the way. BOP, bubble of protection. Bubble of protection. I like it, BOP. So any negative energy coming, BOP, BOP it away, BOP. I like that, yeah. So when I draw this figure with this image, right, with these intentions, bubble of protection, now what I draw actually happens. Now there's a bubble of protection surrounding me. And I can even add extra intentions, right? So on the line, I can put ×3. So now that's 3 layers of protection. You see? So using words and symbols and drawings, you can actually place protection around you as needed. Now, let's say there's some symbols of protection that you like to use. Then you can do the same thing. Draw those symbols around you, and left, right, up and down, one in the front, and then one a little off-centered with the intentions of it being behind you. So now I drew protection symbols, up, down, left, and right, one in the front, and when I drew this one, I had the intentions that it's going to be behind me. So now I have the protection symbols on 6 sides. Sometimes our mind can be a little cluttered. Our third eye can be a little cluttered. We can't necessarily use our imagination at that time. Maybe we're stressed, maybe we're tired. And we're so tired that, you know what, I just can't focus right now to try to place it in my head and place these symbols around. So I'm going to do it on paper, and it's going to have the same exact effect because it's the same exact intentions. And a lot of times what I like about writing or drawing is that when you start to draw, it quiets everything around you and you're focused just on what you're doing. And as you're drawing, new things can come to you. Like, you know what? I can put this too. I can do this too. So inside of this bubble, you know what? Let's add some unconditional love, right? So I'm gonna draw UL with the intentions of unconditional love inside of this bubble that I placed around me. You know what? I want to put a B for benevolence. I want benevolence inside of my R as well. Okay. I want to put LL with the intentions of love and light inside of my R, inside of this bubble. See? So now I'm actually drawing extra intentions that I want so I can be protected from the opposite energies. But you know what? Sometimes people like to use projection. They like to project their emotions onto me. I don't like that. I don't like when people project their emotions onto me. So you know what? I'm going to write P with the intentions for projections, right? Or you put PR or whatever, you know, acronym you want to come up with. And I'm going to draw a line to the outside of the bubble. Now this letter's on the outside of the bubble, okay? I'm going to draw a line to the bubble, but then I'm going to draw another line going away from it with an arrow. And the intentions is to reflect, right? Intentions is to reflect or bounce off. So now I have other people's projections, right? When people project their energy or their feelings and emotions onto me, this protection shield, I'm acting this protection shield to reflect it away because I don't want to keep it, you see? So now you are drawing your protection into place. So using this example, you can do the same thing when it comes to your home, when it comes to your children and your loved ones, when it comes to your workspace, anything that you feel like you need to place protection around, you can use these drawings as a foundation to build on, okay? You can also take, let's say, the same image. Let's say I want to take Black Tourmaline and I want to sit it right on top of the stick figure area so that not only am I protected by the drawing that I drew, but now I have a crystal on it also helping me with protection as well. So even if I walk away, this surrogate that I drew with these intentions will still work on me even when I'm not near it. That makes sense. And when we get into crystal grids and stuff, we'll also go more deeper into that as well. Okay, hopefully that was very simple for you to be able to do. So again, your homework for this week is going to be identifying what chords are connected to you and identifying what chords are making you sick, making you feel down, low vibration. And then you're going to be releasing yourself from those connections so that you can free up those spaces from the negative energy. And then your other homework, okay, that I'm going to give you is also to draw protection around you, your home, or anything else that you feel that you need protection. And then pay attention to maybe some changes, maybe some things that happen or don't happen because you have that protection now, and take note of it so that you can see the difference. And then we'll talk about it before class. Okay. Okay, so before we end class, we're going to go ahead and ground, and we're going to stop the recording, and I'll see you next time. So at this time, I command that all of us are connected to the earth vortex and the divine light vortex, and let us all be filled with divine love, light, and benevolence on all layers and levels for our highest good. Ashe. All right, y'all, it's going to conclude our class for the night. I'll see you next time. Ashe.